Hey everybody, welcome to the Value Add Podcast. I'm your host, EQ, and this episode is no different than any other episodes in that we want to add value to everybody that's watching, everybody that's listening. But this is a very special episode as it is the kickoff episode for a series that I'm calling Man Up. And I ain't gonna lie, I see my wife over there. She did give me the name. But this is an all-male panel. And we're going to be discussing some issues that men are, struggling with. Things that men don't discuss. But I have a panel of young men that I admire, that I respect, and that are no strangers in one way or the other to the Value Add Podcast. And I am sure that you all will receive some great value from this, whether you're a man, woman, child, or beast. I can still say that because I grew up saying that man, woman, child, or beast. That's what my mom used to. Anyway, so without further ado, guys, I just want you to kind of introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do, because trust me, you are going to be in for a treat. Let's start off to my left.
Oh, me?
Yeah, that's you.
All right. I think you can still say man, woman, child, and beast.
Beast, yeah.
Yeah, but
Okay.
some people, I just say it, man. I know it early, but I ain't gonna lie. Like, you ever had someone sleep in your bed and you see they foot and you be like, wait, hold on, man. What's going on? Wait, come out and go in the tub and... I just saying, we can do that. We can say, and this is your podcast, but it's getting on YouTube anyway. They ain't watching nothing. They ain't watching nothing. Tamiko Sawyer, that's me, Sawyer boy. Most people know me as a comedian, entertainer, brand ambassador, marketing, daddy. Yeah, that's me right there.
Daddy.
Yeah, but daddy.
I hope one of your children call you daddy.
Wait, what? Is it?
It's a little asterisk on the
I
side.
mean, is it weird that it even like it feels weird?
It's
though.
weird.
It's weird sometimes, especially when your children start getting older and think, hey, don't do that no more. When my children was younger, like you can say the daddy and thing, but now that they older.
No, I don't mind my children. I thought you were talking about women calling you daddy.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Like when my kids was younger, like I could, when women was to call me daddy and things, like I cool with that.
Right.
You know, but now that my kids older, it's different.
women
Don't
calling you
do
daddy.
that. Don't do that. My daughter about to turn 18. Don't do that.
Don't do that. That's
Don't do
weird.
that. Yeah, but it's different, baby. It's different. It's different.
Solid.
Daddy. That's me. Yeah.
That's you.
Yeah, baby.
All right, next. So first of all, no woman could ever call me daddy. That's like too close to home, Dre. No, right? So I'm Nathan Sweeting. I'm a coach, life coach, and a fat loss coach. I'm a father of one, I have one wife that I know about and one daughter that I know about. Christian, love life, love empowering people.
Awesome.
That's what's up, bro. Harrison Thompson, cognitive behavioral therapist. A lot of people know me for that guy that posts a lot of edgy, provocative, controversial things on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, the likes. But overall, though, I am a human being first. Entitled to my emotions and my feelings. Father of one young girl. Married since 2015 with the same girl since 2008. No incidents.
Wow.
That's a good mom.
I trying to walk that line. And when I tell you it's hard, it is hard. And I don't say that disrespectfully. I say that honestly as a man trying to do the right thing. So hoping we can get a lot of things on Cheba EQ.
But this could be solid. I feel that, this can be awesome. All right. So I was inspired to do this because I feel as though real men of today are not as vocal as we could be, right? About things that really are coming to attack what it is to be a man, right? And so to provide our audience with context, I want each one of you, what does it mean to be a man? In your own words, what does it mean, Tamiko Sawyer, to be a man?
What does it mean to be a man?
Yes.
All right, so this me. Yeah, to be a man, like from what I know of, like especially cause like I grew up with my dad there, so I had a good image of what I feel like a man was supposed to be, or whatever, was sent to me. So to me, it's supporting, Jared, like supporting your own, whatever you get yourself into. You need to be the one to, make whatever the results are. You got to deal with it, if it's good or bad. Family wise, when it comes to family wise, regardless of how much money you make in, where you set in life, the people in your house or whoever you get that call, look up to you and be like, use the daddy, use here to support us. You need to find whatever way it is to make that happen. To make that happen. And I talking about, like, people like to add everybody else into their wife. Like, you being a man is what you got to do. You got to compare yourself to nobody else and what they doing to be a man and how they supporting their life and whatever it is they doing as a man. Whatever it is that you going through, you need to find the best part of you and be the best you and just go there and make it happen. But especially if you's a daddy on the show.
Right.
So if you was a daddy on the show, whatever it is, because plenty of people out there, like, they ain't really get it. But they get it. Like, inside, but them kids they ain't talking with their friends, but the bills ain't getting paid in time and these things, and I'm like, certain things everybody don't need to know.
Right.
So being a real man is just holding the grounds and taking fault and making whatever fall on you. You take that. You take that for your team, and we could go on and on with a man is, but that's kind of just.
But that's your thoughts.
Yeah, that's just hold it down.
And
Be the best you could be. Like I tell you, I grew up under a daddy who was showing me be caring, look out for one another. Respect God. When you get like teach people, be good. Just everything, just be good. Whatever you learn, you make sure you teach that to somebody else. And I just continue with that flow.
Interesting.
It's good.
Nate, what about you?
Nice.
What does it mean to be a man? MAN.
To be a man, we started to speak about it before the show. Being a man means being a leader, and that starts with self-leadership. But first of all, understanding yourself, building a level of self-awareness, understanding, what makes you tick. Why do you feel certain emotions? Why do you think a certain way? Why do you perceive life the way you do? So it's first learning to understand yourself. Then is actually going out there and putting that out into the world. So being a leader in your home, in your relationship, in society, and being a leader really means setting the pace for what everyone else around you should be doing. Your children, your colleagues, everyone else around you. It's being a man is you're the what's the word? You're the pace setter. In other words, it's having the courage to do what you need to do without excuses. You could second guess yourself because that happens. You're human, but still putting in the effort, taking action, and actually doing what you're supposed to do to take care of yourself, take care of your family, your who you're in a relationship with, your children, and just provide and empower people as best as you could. People should follow your example based on what you do and not necessarily and not only on what you say. So being a man means you're always being watched. So do what you need to do.
Boy, that's good.
What about you, Harry? What is being a man? Like, what is a man to you?
So I look at the word man as a very overarching label, because we can't just say it's physical. A lot of men out there have penises, but they ain't doing what they're supposed to be doing. So we know it can't be one dimensional with just being born with a penis.
Right.
We know being a man just can't be masculine, because it ain't just men out there who masculine, right? We got women out there who masculine too, so it can't just be having a penis and being masculine. For me, a comprehensive man is a man who exists at the intersection between lion and lamb, where he nurtures the ability, like a lion, to attack, to kill, to be aggressive, and to be assertive. And he also nurtures the ability, like a lamb, to be intuitive, to be sensitive, and to be empathetic and compassionate. And a man who is not nurturing both sides, he's not a comprehensive man. Everybody born with the ability to be more so one than the other. Some men are more inclined to be a lion, some men are more inclined to be a lamb. But we all have our duty to bring on that other side through life. If I born as a lion, I have to nurture the lamb. If I born as a lamb, I need to nurture the lion, taking up martial arts, lifting weights. If I'm a lion, well, I need to go to therapy. I need to connect with myself. I need to allow myself to be vulnerable. And so I feel like a man is the one who's going to challenge himself to take on the other side of his journey that he wasn't born with.
See, I tell y'all, right? Margot, this camera on me, right? Because I want to talk to these people. I told y'all that y'all were in for a dynamic and value-packed episode of the Value Add Podcast. We didn't even really get into that yet. We just defined what it is to be a man. And these three brothers already dropped some gems, man. So that I could answer the question. So I feel, and I agree with all y'all, because I feel as though to be a man is to be protector, provider, to be leader, but also to be follower, to be servant, to allow yourself. You have to be a good listener, because you got to listen to the people that you're leading, and really just to do what you say you can do when you say you can do it, with no excuse, no bullshit. Just get it done. And I think that's what it is to be a man. Like you the buck stops with you. And I remember, so I was 12.
Yeah.
And by this time my daddy, my dad, who I don't have a relationship with, had already left, because he left when I was 4. And I remember one time coming into my mom's room, she was crying. The phone was on the bed. And so I was like, "Mommy, why are you crying?" So I pick up the phone and I say, "Hello, hello, hello." "Oh, this is daddy boy. Put your mommy back on the phone." I say, "But why is she crying?" I was 12. She said, "Boy, this thing got nothing to do with you. This grown people stuff. Put your mommy back on the phone." I said, "No, like, she is crying. She don't want to talk to you. Why is she crying?" "Boy, I'll come down there and I'll cut your ass and this, that, and next. You is a little boy, I's man." I said, "No, I's man. I's more man than you, because the little responsibilities that I have, I take care of them." I said, "You ran out on your responsibilities. So therefore, that makes me more man than you." I was 12. And that was the last conversation that I had with my dad.
Oh, wow.
And I really believe, so like, I can't relate to, I know Nathan had a good experience, a good relationship with his dad before he passed. I know, just based on what Sawyer said, but I don't have that. And so for me, that's what a man was. A man was somebody who was going to take care of his responsibilities, whatever they are. Like, you can show up and get that shit done.
Yeah, definitely.
And literally, that's the last conversation that I had with my biological father. And I don't have a relationship with him, but I'm fortunate that I had other positive male influences in my life to really show me what it meant to be a man. I had uncles. I had people that I looked up to in the community. And I took all of those and but one thing I knew at 12 was that if you need a man, you can take care of your responsibilities, whatever they are. And that's, for me, is the root of what it is to be a man, to take care of the responsibilities that you have.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. But you know how you said that, right? I'm thinking you either get a man in your life who's going to show you what it look like, or you're going to get a man who's not showing you what it is. And you will be forced to now go and discover that thing for yourself. It's like, you can't get away from the calling of being a man.
Right.
It's either you're going to see it as an example, or because of so much lack, a drive will be created in you to go and get it. One or the other.
But that's a serious thing, because I remember I told, like, one of the best things, because, I don't, for me, it isn't, "Oh, my daddy wasn't there, boo, hoo, hoo." It's like, I would not be the man that I am today, because I know I was a fucking high-valued man. I just tell my wife this the other day. I say, "You realize that I is a real fucking nigga. Like, I is a high-valued man, and I come with some shit. Like, I know what I good for."
Right.
But I would not be the man that I am today, had my dad been there, because that would have been the closest example of what a man is to me.
True.
And he was lacking in so many different areas. But what I was able to do was take the best from my uncles. My uncle did this, my uncle did that. Take the best from people in the community. And I was able to kind of piece together what I felt I should be doing as a man based on these positive male examples in my life.
We had
good.
good TV back then too.
Yeah,
Even if you didn't
yeah.
really had a daddy, like, boy, once you used to watch MacGyver was playing
Boy.
with daddy, you know. When you watch these things, they have
Honest to God.
households with a father and a mother in it.
Yeah.
And a strong father too.
Right.
Chuck Carl Winslow was holding down family matters.
Boy. Talk to you.
Your boy,
Yeah.
I can't even.
Philip Banks.
Philip Banks.
Yeah.
Philip
yeah.
Banks was
Uncle
holding it
Phil.
down.
Yeah.
Jefferson was holding it down for a long time. He didn't even have no children, but them children's growing and things, boy.
Go for it.
What about Bill Cosby?
Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby, the Cosby Show, he was holding it down.
Bill
was holding down back
Bill
then.
Cosby is. They can say whatever they want. Some things you can't change, but boy, Bill Cosby caused plenty men be the men that they are right now.
Yeah. True.
Besides
He was a role
the
model.
things that came out afterwards.
Yeah.
True.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You watching this when you and this ain't no broke black boy. This a
No, this
He's
is
a doctor, boy.
This is a doctor.
and he still kept all the qualities and
Yeah.
everything like that. And that was good for us watching that.
JELLO.
Listen, Mr. Jello.
Yeah, but
But you know, that's a good call because I feel like people will reduce you to the last thing and not necessarily see what you were doing for the time that was existing in
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
Because it's like they will judge what it was based on how they feel today. But it's like, look at who that person was. Like, I often ask a lot of people who come into my office, right? I said, look at your father, not for how he made you feel, but for what was real for him at that time. See, because you have the luxury of now looking back on that and saying, well, why didn't you do this? But did your father have that same luxury? And the only way I have found that people could heal that is if they learn to see people for who they are instead of for how they make them feel. And I feel like a big quality as a man is learning to see who people are. You find that when you base people on how they make you feel, that is a very volatile definition of that person, right? Because I can make you feel annoyed today, or angry tomorrow, or happy one day. But being able to see through that is what a man should always be working towards, because that's where our decisions are made, not on the feeling, but on the principle and the value.
But I all right, so even in that, right? Like when you hear about, and fuck, I'm mad, I tiptoeing, right? But when you hear about traditional male values, like men don't act on feelings. I was taught,
Yeah.
right? Men don't act on feelings. Men are logical creatures, and we do what is needed to be done to accomplish whatever the objective is, regardless of how we fucking feel.
how hard it
We
is.
leave the feelings for the women now.
Right.
Like you could be in your feelings, but now this new whole conversation of, which I think is kind of fucked up. It's like we want men to become emotional, right? And we want men to display their emotions. And while I understand that there is value in a man being in tune with his emotions, I don't think that men need to be emotional. I think there is a difference. I think there's a difference between me recognizing that I'm feeling something now, but not acting based on my feelings, especially when those acts are in contravention to what it is that I'm supposed to be doing as a man.
That's good. So it's almost like a sugarcoating of that masculinity.
Yeah.
You gotta be emotional. Like you gotta act that out in order for that to be seen as legit. You can't just have reflective thought
No.
on the fact that you are afraid.
You gotta show it.
You gotta show me you scared. Like why you
Yeah.
ain't shaking? Why your voice ain't changing in intonation? Why you so stoic all the time? Because I feel like we struggle with that. You got some people out there who say it ain't real unless you are showing me that.
Right.
Like align with this emotion. Show me you could tear someone's head off. Versus the man who says, no, I know myself well enough to know that I'm angry right now.
Yeah.
And if you cross that line, I'm telling you what's going to happen.
And when
Right.
it's time for me to tear off somebody's head, I can tear off somebody's head.
Exactly.
But see,
But I gotta show that to you.
that's the problem. A lot of men don't know themselves like that. This is where self-mastery comes into play. A lot of men are influenced by society. Right now, society says, hey, you got to show certain emotions. You got to do and say certain things. But a lot of men don't understand, all right, if you come, like, back in the day, like, Ethan could tell you this, back in the day, if you step, when we go clubbing and partying, if you step on my shoes, I used to wear a white K-Swiss back then. So if you even
Lord.
brush up against my K-Swiss, I mean, like, we have to fight.
Yeah, that's a
It
problem.
ain't no option.
We got to.
We have
No, we-
to, like,
we got to.
literally there is no option in that case, because now guess what? Since you stepped on my shoes now, that means a couple of things. One, you dirty my nice clean shoes. Two, my boys watching this, so they watching what I do. So I can't seem like a punk in front of them right now. So I gotta react to protect my image as the alpha male, as the man in the group. But it's really understanding that when you get to the point where you losing your temper for stupid things, that really shows insecurity.
Yeah.
True.
You know?
Why then do we struggle to nurture that middle ground? But the point where we could negotiate with that feeling and say, listen, this is what I feel, but it isn't the only thing I have to make a choice on. I could do that, which is the easiest thing to do. Or I can do the harder thing, which is to sit down and reflect on why would I really need to do that in the first place? Because what does that then say about what we build our manhood on?
Yeah.
Well, see, I think, and that's why we started this episode with what does it mean to be a man, right? Because in an example that Nathan just gave, he wasn't being a man in his definition, which is a man as a leader. He was actually being a follower because he had the weight of the opinions and perception of his boys who he was riding with, that led to him acting the way that he did back in the day. But now that he is more self-aware, now that he has evolved and he has embraced his manhood, he know that isn't a true display of what it is to be a man. Like, you ain't gonna tear somebody's head off just because they step on your white K-Swiss.
Now, Nathan say he used to club with you.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
I wonder, and so you used to look at him and say he was soft then.
Yeah, but
No.
that's why I had my
Hold
training.
on, nah. I used to be there with Nate, but I used to be that boy. It's the reason I used to be like, because I didn't like fight.
Okay.
I didn't like fight. Man, fight. Oh, Lord, the things that me and Nathan done. Oh. Drink up.
And it's the same thing with sex. A lot of men believe that you ain't a man unless you're juicing a bunch of dollars. Right? That's what I believed growing up. Like I
think all us we grew up in that time. Yeah.
But the thing is, a lot of men still believe that.
Yeah.
It depends on who you hanging around. The people who you hanging around, and that's who. Plenty of people, like you say, people still, no matter how old he is, but you get people who 50 something still trying to make sure that boy right there, make sure he look like he holding it down or doing something, even though they 55.
Right.
Still putting on a show for nigga.
Yeah, no.
But see, I it comes back then to how I feel when I say a man got to really engage with the other side of his journey that he wasn't born with. Because we all born into a set of norms and standards that we didn't ask for. Like, as soon as you born and you name man, you walking into expectations for your life.
Right.
And you're going to know what to do before you ever get to know who you are. And if a man never challenges that to say, well, I've been born into this duty. I've been born into this responsibility. But when am I going to consciously stop that door and say, well, who am I first? Because I grow up having to take care of my mommy. I grow up having to make money and get up early and wash my dishes and do X, Y, and Z. But it's like, at some point, I got to put a stop to that and say, well, let me see who I am first. Because as men, we always know what to do. Make the money, provide, and serve.
Let me ask you something. Because I know these two cats, right? But Harry, your daddy was around. Well, you have a good relationship with your dad, right? Like he was around this, that, and next, right? So as a young boy growing up, right, who doesn't have that immediate male, that positive male influence there, like, how do you figure this shit out? Because I think a part of the challenge that we have as men is that we get the parameters, like you said, from society. This is what we're dealt. We also get inputs from our peers who just as fucked up and not as qualified as we are. And this is what men are. So you got a bunch of males who aren't self-aware, who have this idea of what it is to be a man, telling you what you should be doing as a young boy coming to be a man. So like how do we convey, or how do we get fellas to understand that? Because like so I say, it ain't just the 16, 17, 12, 18, it's the 50-year-olds. Like, how do we get people to understand that being a man is more than being able to tear your head off, juicing a bunch of gals, and like you said, finding that balance between lamb and lion?
We got to get comfortable coming out of the normal, man, or what we think is normal. Plenty man and plenty woman doing the same things because that's what they feel like it's supposed to be. And like you say, but sometimes, like, but I to the point now, like I just realized a couple of years ago that the people who I grew up under was garbage, but and when I mean garbage like that. I talking about what I looked at them and considered to be, I won't be like that. When I grow up. This is how you do that, and then you get old and you realize. No,
Not
that
like
doesn't make no
that.
sense. Not like
Not
that.
quite.
Not just like that. But sometimes, like you see, you gotta step out and see the world for what it is. Like some people, but still live through their corner. The whole life still based through that corner, boy. Like through that corner, ain't no world and things. So what they know is what they know, and there ain't no one coming out. Like you say, we come out in the times where, but we can't be soft.
True.
When you be soft, we like, man, boy.
I
And some people grew up with us, but they ain't into that, so they try and know I can keep it just like this, and this is what it is, but
I feel like at the end of this, there should have been a pool of wisdom. Like our side mission as men, after we didn't get to where we need to get to in life, is to pour back. I feel like we don't have any environments where that wisdom is being transferred anymore. And so what happens is that side mission, like after I done raise my children and do what I need to do in my family, I have to be engaging in giving away this thing to other people who didn't have it. So that they could say, boy, Mr. Thompson came to my school today. Boy, and he says some things that really put into perspective what it really means to be a man, And we take for granted how that little comment or little skit you may put out or a little status I may post or a little podcast you may do or a conference that you may put on. It's like we saying things in the moment that may not yet show everything that moment will lead to. Someone's going to watch this maybe in the next 3 or 4 years and say, "Mud does sex dread. I never knew or ever heard somebody frame that like that for me before."
Yeah.
So it's like the fact that we engaging in these kind of things right now, that's how you fill the gaps between those who have and those who did not have.
So let me ask you guys this. So we've already established based on, our experiences and our vantage point, what it is to be a man, right? Now the next level to that is, what does it mean to be a high valued man? Because like I say, I had dinner with my wife the other night, and I said, listen, I was a high valued man.
Right.
I know what I bring into the table because I'm intentional about adding value. Right. And you know what she say? She say, yeah, you are. She say, she ain't call me daddy though, sorry. She say, yeah. She say, actually, but she said, period, occurred. I don't know. I can't do it. Yeah, she said period. Like that's what it is. Because I know what it is. I'm intentional about that shit, right? She said period. She's like period. So my question is though, because I know what I mean when I say I'm a high valued man. Right? Like I know and for me, being a high valued man is building on that, doing what you say you can do, taking responsibility. But I let the people know, like my wife know whatever she decides that she want to do, it ain't about whether I agree with it or not. If this what you say you want to do, my first and only question is, how can I help? I am intentional. I wake up every fucking morning and I say, how can I add value to my wife? What can I do? And I'm intentional about adding value to all of my relationships, whether it's personal or professional. I'm intentional. And I find out, and this is how I actually got from Harry. I remember Harry said, well, Ethan, it's good that you want to help people, but your help is only valuable if you're helping people the way that they want to help.
Right.
And so I really took that to mean that, okay, well, instead of when my wife comes to me now and says, hey, I want to do this, I say, okay, well, this is how we can do it. I say, no, how can I help?
Yeah.
Because she has some things in her mind. So the question that I have to you brothers right now is, what is a high valued man then? Because I know we got man and we already explain what that is, but what does it mean to be a high valued man? And is that even a thing, or is once you man, you man?
I definitely feel it's a legitimate concept, right? But just like the name of this podcast, it's value added. So how can I add value to the thing that you are already doing?
Right.
Our goal is not necessarily to define what you should be doing, because now you start going down the path of like being egotistical and arrogant. That's not what a high value man is. A high value man is a man who is able to add value to the thing that is already taking place. So if I came into this ministry and this is what the ministry was, when I leave, I should have added something to that.
Yeah.
The goal is not to always define what we think things should mean, which is what happens when we're very selfish. So I think you got to look at your relationships. You got to look at your life. You got to look at the people you come into contact with. And regardless on whether or not it was just someone hailing you, you sat down for a conversation or a podcast, it's like people should left there with either new thoughts, challenged thoughts, or something that resonated. If you're not doing that in your life, I feel like you're not a high value man. You're just a man who's defining what he thinks people should be doing.
Being a high value man, it really means, like, just like you said, it means leaving you or helping you to get in a better position than you were in, helping you to be a better person than who you were initially. Is I know in church you say is a provider, protector, and priest. You know, you provide, you protect your family, you keep them safe, and you keep them in line with God. You know, and being a high value man means you set the pace for your household and your relationship. I mean, shoot, my wife and I make our own money, right? Before my wife spend anything, she's check with me for her money, what she worked for. You know, like, you don't have to do that. But guess what? She see me as the man of the house. If someone cracked a joke in church, said, they say the man is the head and the woman is the neck. So whereas I'm the head, I make this. I have the final say in my house. I have the final say literally about everything in my house. But guess what? That is based on what my wife says. So she's the neck. You know what I'm saying?
She's a shadow heading.
She's next. She control the head.
That's why.
So whereas I have the authority to say, all right, let's do this. Let's not do that. Let's go here. Let's not. I have that authority. But based on what she says, it'd be like, what do you think, sweetie? All right, let's do this. All right, boom, let's do this. Because most times she makes sense. Almost every time, actually. So we still end up doing what she wants to do or what she thinks is best to do because she makes sense. But it's still my call to say if that makes sense.
I could get with that.
You see? So
That's interesting. What say you, Sawyer?
That's a lot. I don't even know. See, I got to speak from my point of view, right? Like I single out, yo.
Right.
Like I hear y'all. Like I hear people say like, what is the value added and what the man should be. But plenty time, like I looking at things and I'm like hearing it, like, oh boy, everything what y'all saying the man should be. But when these women get that, but they don't even want that. So, and I speaking for it from the point that I in you, like I in you swimming inside the water, boy.
Right.
I in you swimming in the water, and I know, but like I been there where you, like you say, you want to be there to be the one to be the most supportive and this and that, but every time you don't beat up boys, like you want to beat up boys, but does that not make you a man because you don't have the money to back your ideas? And plenty times you have these ideas, but you can't say it because the ideas come with money or ideas come with this and that, so you got to hold back on it. And I, like I said, I like to talk real stuff. Like I've been in situations where, but I feel like I was a man doing all the supporting and thing, and you know, 50-50, but we used to want 50-50. To me, at that time, it was like this made the best of sense. I love you, you love me, you know what's going on. I come with my package. I catch you, Brian. You ain't even get no packages yet.
Right.
We doing this together. We in there, we boom, we moving. And now it's a problem because I ain't getting 50-50. But at the time, it's like, hold on. You don't get no loan, you don't get no kids, you don't get this, you don't get that. So it's different. So to the man that who doing 50-50 or doing the best, yeah, but to him, but to everyone else who looking at him, he ain't even a man. Because he coming there halfway.
See?
Or he coming in there for
Boy.
some people, but like if you can't come there and do this thing that they say that this makes you a man.
First of all, who the fuck is they? Like, who is they we talking about? But
Society dictates that being a man means you need to be providing that money.
Yeah, but that's what
if
it
you
is
ain't
now.
providing that money, guess what? You ain't no real man.
Wait, that's what it
You
is
ain't
now.
providing for your family. And most people, I don't say most, a lot of people base their manhood strictly on their ability to provide money.
Yeah, that's what it is now.
Well, I am one of those people.
I said strictly.
Right. No. So when I say
Keyword
when I say I am one of those people, I believe that as a man who is taking care of his responsibilities, that part of those responsibilities are financial.
I agree.
Okay, like I do believe that as a man, you should be able to at least take care of your fucking self first, which is why I could do a pull up. Like you should be able to pull your own fucking weight as a man. I don't like this concept of I had somebody on the show, very successful young woman, and she said that her husband likes the idea of being a cap man. My wife missing make one joke.
What's that?
About a cap man. So I don't even know. You know the cap man. You know what a cap man is?
That's like a
That's cap.
Yeah, like a house husband. Like his woman is take care of everything. If he need to buy toilet tissue to wipe his ass, he gotta ask his wife for fucking, like he's taken care of. You know, like how you want to provide for your wife and supply every need and want that she has. You got niggas out there who want their woman to do that for them. That ain't fucking me.
Or they live in a soft life.
yeah.
Oh yeah. That's a new thing now. Like women, like they want to be passenger princesses. have their woman driving
Soft
their
life,
ride
man.
and.
I want that.
Interesting.
Wait, I know.
I'd rather not be in a relationship.
I had a point to y'all with the value, right? Because it's like, okay, watch how value could be very linear and then also be very subjective. I think we could all agree that there's a different kind of hierarchy between Gucci and Nike,
Right.
right? But then what if I don't like Gucci? What if I was a Nike guy, right? And you offering me that Gucci, but I reject that on the basis that ain't valuable to me.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like you got that version of us in men where it's kind of like there is hierarchy, but I'm making more money than you, therefore I am of more value than you. I benching more in the gym than you. So it's like, obviously, I tougher than you. It's like, but I done march down a couple of niggas on this road, bro. What you ever do? And it's like, wow, that is some hierarchy because I ain't never marched nobody down.
Right.
I ain't never benched 2 plates. I ain't making that much money. But I ain't trying to march nobody down, bro. I ain't trying to live in the gym. So it's kind of like value based on its application is very, very subjective. But I feel like when we get together as men as a whole, as a society, it becomes very linear. Because then obviously we're going to look at the guy who's skinny and say, yeah, but this nigga's a pussy, but he can. But that ain't true.
Right.
That's just how we group think together as men. But individually, it's like, but we value different things. This guy interested in anime. He interested in wearing the color black everywhere. Hoodies. He ain't got one coat in his closet.
Right.
Then this guy over here is interested in working out. He's a corporate guy. He's shaking hands with the people behind the closed gates.
Right.
It depends on who you are.
But Harry, even to that point though, isn't there some universal, I don't know, call it standard, call it viewpoint that, like I said, I mean, because we talking Gucci versus Nike is preference,
Right.
right? And I think that, but at its core, if we say, okay, well, a man is somebody who handles his responsibilities. A man is somebody who is a leader, a pace setter in his home. A man is somebody who does what he says he's going to fucking do. A man is somebody who shares the knowledge that he has with the up and coming. Those are fundamental things. Like when you say, okay, well, what is a car? A car is something with 4 fucking wheels,
Right.
a gas pedal, and a brake. Now you could have a fucking car that's a Hyundai. You could have a car that's a Mercedes, like the one I bought for my wife. You could have.
Look at that. Look at that.
Gotta plug.
You could have a car.
You gotta buy me a Mercedes. You don't buy me the Mercedes, you know mine.
You know, but I mean, so even though there may be different, you know, different aspects of things, but at its core, a car is what a car is.
Right.
A car is a vehicle with 4 fucking wheels, a steering wheel that you can use to get from point A to point B, right? So at its core, when we talk about what is a man, like there has to be some fundamental things that make you a man, not a male. Because like you said, you know, just because you're born with a penis don't mean you's a fucking man.
I mean, you ain't doing it.
But there has to be some fundamental things that identifies you as not just a man now. We talking about a high valued man.
Right.
Like, so my thing is, what are those things? Because like I said, you know, me wanting, we talking about preferences, but I mean, there has to be, and I may be wrong, but I feel that there has to be some fundamental truths that link all men who are high valued men. These are certain qualities, principles. This is the blueprint. This is the template. This is what this is the criteria and what makes a high valued man.
Well, if you go to some tribes in Africa, it's who got the biggest belly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
like, but if you ain't got that belly, the gals ain't looking to have sex with you and to have your kids.
Right.
Of course, in a lot of our male-dominated cultures, it's the size of your dick and how well you can make this woman come and bust an X, Y, and Z.
Now it's money. You
It
don't
ain't
even
even
need
about
all that
that.
no more,
You
but-
just need money. You need corn.
I think it's your ability to be defined as a high-value man is based on, are you going to give that woman access to the life that she wants? That's what's going to give you the title of a high-value man. If we could be real, are you going to give this woman access to the life she thinks she deserves?
So being a high valued man based on what the women feel about it.
Well, see, that's what it's sounding like now.
Does that make you? Does being a high value man mean we still get to please the woman?
And being a high value
all man,
be
if
in
you like man,
relationship.
whatever the
No, we ain't
however
talking
they
about that.
set
We ain't
up.
talking about that.
But I mean, as a man who's
You gotta please your
heterosexual
partner.
man, right? But do you have to be in a relationship to be a high valued man?
I don't think so.
Is
but
a relationship? Why is we talking about? Because you could be a high valued man and
see, you could be a high-value man within your own right. I
Right.
believe that when you are a man doing what he needs to be doing, you're a high-value man. But that's only you.
So, but
Yeah.
but to Nathan's point, self awareness is a fundamental. Self mastery and self awareness is a almost a prerequisite to being a high value. Like, you have to know who you are.
yeah.
And so I can put this to y'all: Harry, Nathan, Miko, are y'all high valued men?
Without a doubt, bro.
And what makes
Yes,
you?
boy.
All right, so three y'all answers. So what makes you a fucking high valued man, Harry?
My confidence in myself. I think nobody could tell me anything about the work that I do. Nobody could tell me anything about the vision I have, the dreams I have, and not just the dream, but the evidence to show you that I chipping away at this dream. Nobody could challenge that in my life. The only thing people can challenge about it is the perception of it. That's the only thing the general public and even family has access to, the perception of what they think my value is. But I know it. And because I know that value within myself, that is something that I don't need any external validation on.
Period.
Period.
Okay.
What do you,
City boys up, man.
exactly what he saying?
Nate, what makes you a fucking high valued man?
My focus on self-mastery, period. Self-mastery meaning learning how to manage, first of all, understand myself and manage my own thoughts, my own emotions, and my own behavior. You know, not being controlled or led by society as to how I should think, what I should feel. I don't know. Like, I can't motivate myself. I can't get myself to stop procrastinating. I don't know why I see every day as being negative. You know, like, being a high valued man, man, I've taken the time and I continue to take the time every day to learn myself and to change my behavior so that I do actually add value to my wife, my daughter, friends, family, everyone around me. But that starts with me. You know, literally the starting point of being a high value man or just a man in general is you learning yourself, which is what so many people don't take the time to do. They so fixated on just going out and doing and moving and, you know, going on this job, making money, but they don't take the time to sit down and learn, okay, who am I?
Who am I? The girls, them shaking. Sawyer. So what makes Tamiko Sawyer a high valued man?
I gotta go with Harrison. Harrison said it just now. It make plenty sense because you said when you have confidence. What you say? When you have
When you got confidence in yourself, boy.
I think that's when I considered myself to be a high valued man. When I looked at myself and felt confident in what I had to offer. Because I ain't telling you a lie, that just happened as of late. And as much as even before that, like I consider myself to be a high valued man because I was a good daddy, You know, I making sure the rent paid and whatever it is that we going through. My kids don't go through that. But like you say, even though all that was happening and stuff, I still didn't feel like a high valued man. Like that even caused me to not get into relationships because I didn't feel like I was to that point to bring that to a woman, whatever I had to bring that into a relationship. But now I feel like I do because of the confidence. Like, even though, I might not have the money and thing that I want, but at the same time, it's like, wait, if you come around me, I know what you getting yourself into. I know when you leave, even if you was to ever leave from here, you leaving with something more than what you came in with. And I'm just talking about what I just like financially, like there's so much more. Like, I know what I get to offer when it comes to being a man, especially for a woman, like listening and doing this and knowing your needs and just because of, practice and things, especially when you're being juicing and things all the time and they're going to show what you get to know plenty people and things. Being in plenty relationships.
You get to know plenty people.
It depends on the kind of juicing you're being doing. But no, I feel like because I'm more confident in myself now, I feel more high value. Like I would put myself in some positions right now that I would not put myself in 5 years ago, being in the same mindset or whatever the case would be.
I like that this talk about confidence, right? So how does a man build that confidence in themselves? Like, I mean, because I have my thoughts on that. How do you build confidence? But I want to hear from you guys and Harry, I can lead off with you because you're the one who brought this to the table. How does a man, young man, old man, somebody who wants to become a high valued man, if confidence is a prerequisite or a condition of becoming a high valued man, how does a man build confidence within himself?
So I think confidence has to come from knowledge. And knowledge comes from discovery. And you can only discover if you're willing to embrace the 50-50 outcome of success or failure. So you got to change your relationship with having to make the first step the right step. Because if you're overly prioritizing that the first step has to be the right step, you're not making the kind of mistakes you need to be making to kind of build the kind of confidence that you probably are looking for. I remember back in the day when I was like on the road, and it's like, I remember the version of me who was trying to get gals. I remember I was on dating websites looking at how to nag and how to peacock and how to stand out and show confidence and dominance.
Hello, the fuck is nagging?
I know.
I'm sorry. I know.
I had some questions about that statement as well.
What the fuck is nagging and peacocking?
It's a new porn
Like a
category.
gal. Say new porn.
What site this is?
Right. So nagging is this concept where an obviously beautiful woman is not used to hearing something negative about her. So imagine being the first guy that says to a 10,
Oh,
babe,
yeah.
you beautiful, but them shoes are hideous.
Or your foot big.
So you're nagging. Nagging them is
nagging.
almost like kind of pulling them down to your level.
Interesting.
Then they're going to
okay.
be hungry to know, well, why is he so different?
They have a word
See,
for that.
that's the psychology shit.
Yeah, I didn't know they have an actual.
Yeah, it's just like nagging. And we do it all the time. And we tease and we diss and we carrying on rough with the one we like. They call it nagging, right?
Really?
Yeah.
But I never
Nagging
nagged.
is important.
It's very important. But
That's
guess what?
important though. Like
You
especially
can't-
what you go ahead, but you go ahead.
You can't learn that script. That gotta be in you as I really don't like that. You can't learn to just say I don't like the shoes because then it's gonna come off weird.
Yeah.
So that was the earlier version of me who was trying to be that guy. And now that I'm confident, I find that because I don't necessarily need to win anybody, it happening. I ain't giving these gals attention who come in here with the skirts. Everybody breaking their neck, right? Like, mother sick, but you see who just walk in here?
Yeah.
I just trying to get my wedge and chicken.
Pie.
So all of a sudden now it's like, well, why this nigga ain't looking at me?
Yeah.
And it's almost like the confidence that I now have within myself to know that I don't need these things to be a man. In a weird kind of roundabout way is working to give the younger me something he was looking for. It's like I ain't looking for it now. Like I'm more confident as a married man than I ever been in my life. I ain't really checking too tough for the small things anymore. And I know why these gals tripping over that. It's like when I was trying They wasn't there.
Right.
But now that I ain't trying,
They like
they all
people
over that.
things, man. That's all.
That's all it is. It ain't got nothing to do with that.
Especially when people get good things.
But you know, so you should just put a fucking ring on your wedding finger, and then you
and
get
then-
all the pussy.
and that's exactly.
And I know,
what
so
happened,
you
but
ain't got
I
no problem getting pussy. I mean,
Right.
I don't know what your pussy life like.
No, I
I'm just saying, like I don't think Sawyer boy. I don't think Sawyer boy.
TV.
Sawyer,
man.
Sawyer ain't dry at all.
It gotta be in you. So to the original formula.
So you gonna quiet on that. You gonna quiet on that.
I like how Harry said, you know, Harry's like, all right,
Please help my boy.
Don't tell.
Light skin, light skin come to save you, but hey, light skin need help. Hey, what are you doing?
y'all beige fellas gotta stick together.
But it's like you gotta honestly though, if I think if a man could learn to become better friends with failure, he could get over that initial fear of trying to make everybody happy, trying to do the right thing too soon, and instead just fail so that you can get to encounter yourself. And that way you could learn from that moment and build.
Interesting. What say you, Nate? I feel like you want to say something. You want to say nothing?
Oh, I was just thinking if I should get top up right now. No, but confidence. What we saying? How you build confidence? Sorry, I had a couple of drinks already. So. I think confidence comes through preparation. If you have two fighters in the ring, one of those fighters been training for a year, the next fighter been training for a month. Who's the most confident? The one who's been training for a year. Why? Because that's the one who's most prepared. When you look at my public speaking career, and this happens in every area of life. My public speaking career, even before I started being a public speaker, I was terrified of public speaking. I mean, handshake, like something like this with all these cameras around and lights and people watching, my hands would have been shaking right now. My voice would have been trembling. I would have been sweating. I was terrified of it, right? But when I started studying, how to get comfortable, how to overcome a fear of public speaking, and I started putting myself in the position to actually, whenever I am in a room and whoever's presenting, whenever they ask a question, I would always jump up to answer the question, even though I didn't have the answer. But it wasn't about dance. It was about actually practicing and getting myself used to public speaking.
Right.
Then I started getting coaching on it, a bunch of stuff. And I turned it into a career. But the point is that confidence came, the more prepared I was, the more, like you said, the more knowledge I had, the more I actually took action. That's the more confident I got. Same thing with women. Right now, my wife is calling it the peacock chest.
Right.
No, she's called it the pigeon chest. She's the pigeon chest. She said,
A fucking peacock and a pigeon, two totally different
I know, but
birds,
she
right?
say pigeon.
Right,
I gotta get that right.
Pigeon chest.
She say whenever I feel good about something, I walk around like this. She can always say when I confident, I can go fast, take my chest out, and it's just even relationships right now. I am so confident when it comes to women right now. Before it would have been like, if I meet a beautiful woman, I would want to impress her. But now, like being married 10 years, being with my woman for 12 years, like I still want to impress my woman, by the way. I just
I was gonna say, because that statement made me feel a bit uncomfortable. Knowing that you're married going on 10
Glad you
years,
saved
you're
that.
very confident about
good
women.
catch.
Like I was like, what? I need you to break that down for me, because you may have some women out there or somebody out there that may not understand it like me, because it sounds like you're still trying to get other pussy even though you've been married for 10 years.
sweetie, if you want, I love you. And which camera is
Hold on, you better call that girl name. You better call that woman name.
Nicole Joyanne Sweeting.
Because
you and
the question
only
is,
you.
who the fuck is Sweetie?
Okay.
I ain't gonna
Only
say
you.
it. It's like, hey,
And I gotta say, and on that tip, I gotta say, my wife know. This might spark another. No, I don't want to say that on camera.
But say fucking
No,
it, baby.
You might as well. You done bring it up.
Because now the question can be like, with Nathan, what you was gonna say?
So,
I like to see
So-
why people get brought.
So it's a setup.
I know he doesn't go say it, right?
Say it, babe. Say it,
But
babe.
my wife
Be man.
knows.
Say
my-
it with
this
Say
what
it
you
with
call-
your
say it
pigeon
with
chest.
no say it with your chest.
So my wife knows the last time I actually had sex or had any like physical contact with another woman was about 12 couple months before I met my wife, right? Literally, from me and my wife started dating, I stopped juicing other women. Literally
from
the
dating?
beginning, from dating.
Dating.
Like, literally-
he ain't lie with that. I know that.
And he can attest to that.
I
From I actually started going out with her, she agreed to go with me. I literally stopped juicing other women.
But we
And
live
that
in the
was-
same life.
Is
That's
that
exactly how I
because
feel.
we live in all three of us live in the same life. From since I started dating my now wife, I wasn't juicing nothing else neither.
Yeah. That was a lot of stuttering. I know.
Harrison, you want to get something off your chest? And then you want to get
I also agree that I stopped juicing.
Married man
When I
code.
dated
That's
my
the
wife.
fucking truth. That's my truth.
Now watch
Period.
This, now. This is where the touchy part comes into play. The fact that I do not entertain any other woman, like from day one of dating, that does not mean that I do not want to. There's a difference.
Okay.
In my opinion, watch this now. Me and my wife is have these, like me and my wife is have some really deep conversations, very deep, right?
I listen. I want to hear this shit.
My wife knows that as a man, I would love to juice other women.
Really,
I would love that.
you want to juice out again?
Yeah, I would love to do that. Right? And one, it's not because I'm lonely, because I'm not. It's not because I'm deprived, which I am definitely not.
Right.
My wife.
You just like sticky bongy.
most men want to have sex with multiple women because of the variety factor. Now, where you got sensible men and not, I can put it this way, sensible men and non-sensible men is a sensible man knows to control that.
Okay.
You know, just because
is
I
another-
want to, it doesn't mean I'm going
Which
to.
is another great quality of a high value man is impulse control.
Exactly.
So I agree with
That's
you there,
big.
but
big.
we have a difference of opinion on some other shit. But continue.
No, you finished.
Are you finished?
Yeah.
Sorry, what you saying? Sorry.
Sorry to say, buddy. What y'all doing?
What y'all got me on this fucking thing with these tree bar niggas?
listen to your married conversations, right? And I could clearly tell, like from you say that, like you stopped juicing from you started dating. Clearly, you was already all the way into this woman.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Yeah.
Like, you could. Like, I've been talking to people, and as soon as I start talking to them, but I ain't interested in nobody else because she get all my attention. Sometimes you talking to someone, they ain't get all your attention yet.
Right.
And then
True.
you ain't really just cut her off.
No.
Yeah.
Not
No, you
like
can't
that.
go on
You
dry
ain't just
dock.
cut her because why?
You can't go on dry dock for fucking.
See, sometimes
No
you get,
problem, everybody.
sometimes you get lucky in life, and when you do, and it's just wake up.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just
Hold
wake
on,
up.
hold on.
Most
Nate, you
times,
serious?
He
When
ain't
y'all
juicing
start
nobody else.
talking, you wasn't juicing nobody else.
Let me give you all some dates.
I mean, because I just did. I thought I was the only
he
one.
was a virgin.
let me
He
give
said
you
that
all,
and that shocked me, buddy.
let me give you all some dates. I met
Oh,
my
this
wife.
nigga got dates.
I met my wife at around February, March 2011. Around there. The last time I juiced another woman was January 2000. No, I lied. That's what I
boy, Nate. I'm sure you want to do dates.
You want us to take a
Margo, cut this shit.
Margo, cut that one out. Let's go back.
We can do a voiceover, Margo. We can do a voiceover.
No, but
It look like you watching Kung Fu.
But when
I love my wife.
When I met my wife, I was dealing with another woman at the time, right? But once she agreed to go with me, I ended it with that woman, right?
You love
And
love.
No, but
You love love.
you ain't lie. You ain't,
was a-
wait,
no,
you
you
ain't lie.
different, though.
This nigga love.
I
You
do
love love.
I love marriage, and I love the idea of marriage.
Yeah, he ain't lie. He
I
ain't
love
lie.
being able to ride with someone.
Yeah.
You know, get intimate with
No,
someone.
sorry, you-
share
you
yourself.
hit that
I
on
love
point.
Marriage.
This
That's
nigga,
You like woman now, like they come in there expecting this to automatically work because I put no, and I say because you meet women and because they start to get to talk, they talk to you,
Right.
And they say, okay, just make this work. They feel, and men too, because me, if I get in a relationship, I feel like this forever,
Right.
but I get to take some time to get there. You get some people that don't take that long. From
No.
me talking, I talking to you, you talking to me. This what it is.
Boy,
That
that's
You
depends
get
on
some
who
people
you
like
meet, though.
that's what I saying. That's what I
fast,
saying.
right?
Depends.
That's what I saying. But listen to me, y'all ain't telling me nothing. But I been there. Like I been there where people talk to me and they start to say some things like, you don't even know me, but you see
Right.
me on Tuesdays, wait. And they deep in there, wait. Hey, this is it. This is what I want.
you deep in
You
there.
know nothing about me. Nothing.
You see me.
And I can't take someone seriously. You don't know nothing about me. You done lying. I can't
Yeah,
you lying.
you lying.
don't know nothing about me, boy.
That's good, buddy.
That's solid. No, but I think it's important because and this is gonna segue into to part 2, but it's interesting that, you know, the confidence thing about being a high valued man is important, right? But I think as far as how you build confidence is by keeping promises that you make to yourself and having evidence. Harry, you said something about the evidence, right? It's like, I know I can go into a situation confidently based on my experience because I have evidence that I have done this shit before.
You test
right?
it.
Right. You know that you have done this shit before. And I think that's important because, like, I went to a conference beginning of last year, right? And it was a business conference, but I think, you know, the principles of success are universal, and whether it's relationships, business, whatever, it's like it takes the same fitness, it takes the same shit. It takes dedication, commitment, time, doing the work, you know, all that shit, right? And the guy did an exam. He did an exercise, and he said, "You know what? I want you to rate your ability from 1 to 10 based on like 5 different factors, right? Ability." And you had people who rated their ability 10. Like, so let's say like one was like your ability to make $100 million a year. So the fella said, "Yeah, man, you know, I rate myself a 10." And he said, "Why did you rate yourself a 10? He said, "Because, you know, I know that I have what it takes to do this." He said, "Have you made $100 million before?" But I said, "No." He said, "So you can rate yourself a 10 based on your ability because you have not demonstrated, you don't have the evidence where you've demonstrated the ability to make $100 million. Right now, you believe. A belief and ability is two totally different things.
You're right about that.
You believe that based on your cocktail of characteristics and your qualities and what you've done that you could make. But dude, if you ain't make $100 million, you can't rate yourself a 10 on your ability to make, because ability is based on what you have done.
Evidence.
And so I just thought that was very interesting because, like, you could have well intentions. Like, what is your ability to be a provider, to be a supporter, to be faithful and committed to one woman in one relationship? Like, what is your ability to do that? If you haven't demonstrated that before, then you saying this is what I could do. You haven't demonstrated ability, and the more that you have demonstrated ability, the more you can build confidence. Because if you don't have the evidence, it's just, I think this is what I could do. Like, I believe that I could do this, but, you know, belief doesn't contribute to confidence the way that ability contributes to confidence. And so if you are able to do what you say you can do as a man, because you have demonstrated and you have the evidence, you have demonstrated your ability. And I think that is a fundamental part of building your confidence as a man.
I agree.
But I know.
I agree.
I got a part about that because I remember when I was 12, right? And I was saying to myself, I never kicked through no plywood before. But I believe I could, but I never do that. But when I do it, I know I could do it.
Right.
What is that called then when we try to bridge the gap between what I believe I could do and what I actually know? Because now we're moving into the realm of like potential.
Right.
And dreaming and vision. Now we know potential is not a reliable source for anything because everybody have an abundance of it. That's why you can't really rate potential. Everybody got the potential to be the prime minister.
Right.
Everybody got the potential to be a millionaire. But only certain people are millionaires. Only certain people will become the prime minister. What is the difference between those who do it and those who don't? It got to be your belief in it, eh?
Yeah, but
Proving it to yourself that you could actually do it.
right. I think that's what it is. But say you, Nate.
why I still trying to wrap my mind on why is that based on evidence? Your ability to do something is, I think your ability is directly tied to your potential. Actually, like if you say, what's your ability to do a pull-up, for example, that means, can you do a pull-up? Right? Now, even if you cannot do a pull-up now, you can practice and actually do a pull-up.
Yeah, but then if I ask you today, do you have the ability to do a fucking pull-up?
Yeah.
And you can't,
Then you can't do a pull-up.
then you can't do a pull-up. Therefore, you do not have the ability to do. Now, you could believe
Plenty of people full of talk.
with hard work and determination
You can make it out.
that you can make it happen.
Okay.
But that's the fundamental difference. Your
right, that's a good
ability
point.
is based on what the fuck you have done.
I see.
And you get plenty of people out there who just full of talk.
Hence the evidence.
Yeah, talks, and you get plenty of people.
See, because like Harry said, everybody. I mean, you got potential. Everybody, every swinging dick out there has the potential to be a good man.
Yeah.
Because you born with a dick, you born a male. But we have already said that just because you got a dick doesn't make you a man. It
Right.
makes you a male.
Right.
Depending on what kind of conversation you're having.
Yeah.
Anyway,
very
I ain't
true.
getting there. I ain't
That's
getting
not
there.
a-
But that's what ability is. Ability is you have already demonstrated that you can do.
But you can't do now.
Right.
But people is telling me you're funny on a regular basis, right? Like they tell
What
me you're
kind of funny? Like ha ha funny or
Ha ha funny.
Gotta define that.
Sorry, funny enough.
Like the ha ha funny, right? Like I used to meet people on a daily basis, right?
Right.
For years. Stop me and they tell me how funny he is. I just made them laugh. I ain't never see it. I never see it. Like I never see me making them laugh. They might have seen some videos and stuff. Yeah, I see the little likes and stuff, but that don't build my confidence to that point because yeah, you tell me that, but I ain't see that until I see that. Like when I perform Thursday Gone, right? When I actually saw people laughing continuously, that's when it hit me on like, yeah,
Real
you're
time.
funny.
Real time.
I can say now, I know I funny because I've seen it. Because you could say like a bill, man, I can say, but yeah, but I funny, but yeah, I get 61,000 people follow me on Instagram,
Right.
and blah blah blah. But that don't mean I funny. They might have seen something that they like. They might have seen something was relatable to them. They might like how I look. They might see something and just like it.
Right.
And I can't go off that. But when I actually see that they did, what I did brought that out, then I could be like, oh no, I see that happen in real life. So, but until you really get that confidence, by things saying the same, like you got plenty talks. Talks is talks, but you get in talks and say whatever you want to say until you get in a relationship and then you realize them talks ain't mean nothing.
Boy, I got a story for that too, because when I came into the market with therapy, I sat 2 years in my office and I didn't see one person because no one thought I could do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Who this young nigga is?
Yeah. And
He's
you
a
read too,
man.
wait.
Are you read?
What?
The kind of tactics I
Tell
had
me
to
with my
kind of
relationships.
the kind of tactics I had to kind of go to, babe, to get people to see like I legit. I know Facebook therapists. I do this in real life.
Right.
Like if Facebook shut down, I heal.
Yeah.
Right? And so you can't always just allow what you know to be true to be enough. Because see, then you limiting yourself to only the people who know that as well.
Yeah.
What happens when you need to kind of introduce people to who you are? Then you got to kind of meet people where they are. That was the time when I went into the middle of Robinson Road with a tuxedo on and I was like, yo, if you got relationship problems and your man cheating on you, give me a call. Bahamas News, my boy, started to pick up on that. That's when he first came out. I got on all the radio shows and it was interesting because now people started to get a buzz around Harrison Thompson. Y'all saw that video he posted? What y'all think about that? And just like everybody believes, it's going to fizzle, but it didn't fizzle. There never was a drop-off point between what Harrison Thompson was posting out there and what he was living. And so now people started to see this guy's legit. Like maybe beyond a joke, maybe beyond just hype news, like he really is about this, maybe we should try. And now my name is synonymous with like therapy
Right.
in relationships.
Yeah.
People know that now. So even if people don't know me, they know me off of the reputation that people have of me now. But that didn't just happen because I knew myself.
Right.
That happened simply because I was able to see that I had to kind of convince people of that if I wanted to be successful.
Yeah.
Because there's what you know, and then there's what you got to do to get people to know.
To know, yeah.
And I feel like that got to be a separate conversation too, because some people know it within themselves, but they're not doing enough to kind of realize that. They're not doing enough to kind of draw from that.
So even piggybacking off of that, right? Is it a situation where if you feel or you know within yourself, based on self-mastery and self-awareness, that you are a high-valued man, but there's nobody to kind of qualify that? Like so you're saying, like, yeah, you tell me I funny, but I ain't see that. Or no, technically, that ain't what saw it. That ain't what I mean. Hold on. So what I mean is, like, I know that I'm a high valued man, but I haven't demonstrated it to enough people where Harry can say, yeah, but Quan is a high valued man.
More than you could say you're a high valued man.
Right.
So, like, I mean, what is that? Because that's pretty much what you're saying. Like, you know, you had the ability, but it wasn't until you were able to demonstrate that in the market that, and then, I mean, you know, for lack of a better term, you got validation where people could say, no, man, Harry is a real deal. He ain't no Facebook therapist. Like, this nigga he's really doing his shit. So, like, but how much of that is necessary for us to demonstrate our value to, for lack of a better term, the world? Like, I mean, as men, if I know I'm a high valued man, is that not validated unless I could have somebody outside of myself say that I am a high valued man?
Well, I guess it depends.
Plenty
on
people
culture.
say they funny too until they get on stage and then they ain't funny no more.
Right.
That's a different kind of comedy, but I see people who could post a skit,
Right.
and the skit they're jokey, but that entertaining an audience,
That's a different feel.
that being able to pull on like live situations and go off of what that person just shouted out, that ain't like, you can't sit behind a computer and prepare for that. So it's like you got different kinds of value based on who's looking at it and based on what the situation calls for. And I feel like at a particular point, it becomes a performance. It's like, yes, I know that I have value, but how much of it do people need to see for me to be successful in this regard? Because you could determine that I don't need to do that at all and then get popped down. Or you could determine that I know it, but it's not enough for just me to know it. People also need to know that I'm a good therapist.
Yeah.
And so what am I doing to contribute to that in a meaningful way based on where I live? Because if I was living in the States, my approach would be very different. But because I'm not living in the States and I live in Nassau, Bahamas, this is the formula that works to get people to see.
It's different,
You get to deal with your crowd.
You gotta deal with my crowd.
Understand your crowd and
Interesting. All right, Jen. So we can kind of bring it in. I wanna, and I feel like this could open up a whole can of worms.
let's open up them worms.
But see, you know, there's this whole trending thing on this notion of toxic masculinity.
Oh,
Right? And, you know, I have my thoughts on toxic masculinity, but, you know, up until I decided that we were going to do this, this episode of the podcast, I really didn't know what it meant. I never thought to search the textpull definition of toxic
I was about
masculinity.
to ask that. What is the actual definition?
So this is
that.
based on Siri, who pulled it from Wikipedia.
okay.
Toxic masculinity is a set of certain male behaviors associated with harm to society and men themselves, traditional stereotypes of men as socially dominant, along with related traits such as misogyny and homophobia can be considered toxic, due in part to their promotion of violence, including sexual assault and domestic violence. The violent association of boys often normalizes violence, such as saying boys will be boys. And this is related to bullying and aggression. So this is what Wikipedia has as toxic masculinity, right? And based on this definition, now I've gone on record to say something like, you know, I want to make more money than my wife. I don't want, even beyond that, I don't want my wife making more money than me. And somebody has said, oh, that's toxic. That's toxic masculinity. But based on this definition, that isn't, because I'm not perpetuating violence towards my wife. I'm just saying, like, as a man, I want to make more money than my wife. What is toxic about that?
They could say you perpetuating the patriarchy, bro. Because you are a man who benefits from this being a society that he has created. He wants to reaffirm himself as a man by being the one who's making the most. So someone I could imagine would challenge that and say, well, why is that so important for your ego? Why does that have to happen for you to be good? I could see that as being the challenge. That ain't me.
Right.
But I could see that as being the challenge.
But the thing is that I often hear, and I think this notion or this idea of toxic masculinity comes from really insecure fellas, right? And so they have to do these things because I is mine. Me saying that I want to make more money than my wife does not mean that I want my wife to not make as much money as she can.
Right.
I will support my wife. My wife comes and say, hey, I want to do this. My first question is, how the fuck can I help? What can we do?
Same.
And so it isn't that I want her to downgrade herself or I want to hold her back from being the best version of herself that she can. I'm just saying that at the end of the day, I want to, because I am a provider, I feel that I want to be in a position where I can provide more financially, because that's how I think most men rate their value in relations, that I can provide.
That's our safety.
Because
when I got more.
I think where that becomes toxic, or where that can become toxic, to where you say you want to make more money than your wife, where that can become, keyword, can become toxic, is when you trying to hold her down to make sure you making more money.
I agree 100%.
That's when it becomes toxic.
I totally agree with that.
Totally agree with that.
I totally agree with that.
Otherwise, it's just your values.
Yeah, I just want to be able to provide. Here's how I look at that. I want to be able to provide the quality of life for my wife and my family that I feel they deserve without financial inputs from her.
I agree.
Is it toxic masculinity if your wife don't have a problem with you making more money than her, and she want you to be the one to actually make more money than her?
No, I think
Is that a problem?
I think what that is
but
that she is going against the feminist movement. Right. So her feminist peers can have a problem with her saying that she wants a man or she wants her husband to make more money than her.
I think that's where it came from too. Feminism.
Yeah,
toxic
definitely.
masculinity.
Yeah. That's how they label us.
But they often say that women who support men being men are now pick-me's. You ever heard of that term?
Yes, pick me.
A pick-me.
That ain't like a picking.
I ain't get you making.
That I was thinking about Jamaican. I was like picking in the knee, picking in
the knee.
Picking in the knee.
The pick me, man.
No, man. So a pick-me literally is a woman that does something to get a man to say, oh yeah, I'm choosing her. So it's almost like she's virtue signaling to say that I know that this is what men want to hear. So pick me. I'm the good one. Listen to what I'm saying. So it's almost like how men who love women and support women are called simps. But it's like, bro, you being soft now. Stop simping. Stop pandering to women. It's almost like
Harry.
It's more than loving though.
It's
more than love.
Nah, like I said, you was my boy. I love you. I respect you. But I think you was be pandering to women a little bit too, though.
Let me tell you. Like I said back then, you got to understand your market.
You better. No, you
Okay.
better.
I got dragged by men for a post I made earlier this week, and I said on the post, I said, men don't like women anymore.
Right.
They just like pussy.
And I could agree
I see no lie though.
I could agree with what you're
I
saying.
see no lie.
No, I didn't use the word pussy. I said vagina, right?
Right.
But it's amazing because
You can say pussy on the Value Add podcast.
He done said that 7 times already.
men came out of the woodworks to beat me down and say, well, Harrison is this and that. Harrison is this and that, right? And I said, when I do make posts in support of men, it's still only the women. When I put seminars out there for men, it's just the women. And it's like we only come out when it's convenient to defend ourselves, but we never seem to come out there to build and support unless we're being attacked. And I'm like, that's such a double standard.
We like to argue, wait.
So how is it as a therapist, I'm supposed to literally make a living if I don't understand that the only people here who interested in relationships is women.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna tell you no lie. So me and my wife gone Harry, right? When she moved over, I was like, fuck this shit. We going to therapy. I can call my boy Harry.
Right.
I ain't gonna lie. I call Harry for the simple fact that I want Harry to be on my side. Like we's brothers. He can tell my then girlfriend, my wife, that listen, you's the problem. You know, you need to sort this shit out, and this is what you should do. Harry ain't do that though. Harry didn't do that.
all your feelings get hurt.
Harry say, hold on. Even, you know, you got some shit you need to fucking work on. And if you work on this shit, she wouldn't be doing the stuff that I was like, but you's my boy. You supposed to tell me like she's the problem.
Listen, I never been Harry, baby. Harry tell me as soon as you got
That's probably why you in my heart. So
say, but Harrison tell me. I say Harrison, but I think I gotta come and see you. Harrison tell me, but sorry, once you come to my office, we in France. That you know to talk, we in North
Wait.
France. Wait.
In
I was like, I don't think I'm ready for that.
Wait,
Harrison.
I tell you, if you go to Harrison looking for company, he's laid out by.
Nah, it's a weird slope, because let me introduce y'all to this, right? I honor the fact that the only side I choosing is the side of truth. If the red flag showing up on the woman's side, I'm mashing that down. If the red flag show up on the man's side, I'm mashing that down, right? But that ain't gonna work if I talk about how I market myself as a therapist. Because what other therapists do y'all know? I mean, y'all know therapists, right? But it's like, what therapist who's actually putting himself out there in a risky enough way
Yeah,
Yeah.
to say like, this is me, this is what I do, and these are the points that I'm making, and I stand by that. So it's kind of like we live in a culture where I have to appeal what's going to give me an in. But once you get in, it's like now you have a responsibility to start talking truth.
Yeah.
And like this whole week, I've been posting statuses in support of men. I talked about how immature women like to blame men for issues instead of challenging their feelings first. Maybe like 100 likes.
crickets.
I start talking about how men don't like women no more. 1,100 likes. And I'm like, see, this is the problem. When we do a lot of things, when we say one thing, are we really going to support that with our action?
No.
In the same way, like a high value man, it's like I could talk about one thing, but show me the evidence of what you're doing. Because psychological studies have shown that if you talk about something long enough, your brain is going to be convinced that you've done it already.
Yeah. That's true.
So if you see a man talking too much and he ain't doing, that's a red flag, bro.
And we used to be right there reading them posts. And even on my side, when I post certain, like I feel like I was the LL Cool J of comedy because just most of my fans, like 77% of my fans is women.
It's women.
Like my support, people who support me is women.
What could you do?
Right?
about that?
So I put out plenty posts. You know, I was a big supporter of men.
Right.
Daddy is holding it down and doing daddy stuff, and no
None.
man is be under my
They
wife.
ain't on your
None.
wife.
No man even has come under my wife and post a picture with they children and they do the same thing too. You know what I mean? And like the sign that say like, sorry, but you wonder what he want. Boom, I out here doing it too. Boom, I out here doing it too. Just women.
So you know what that's telling me then? That's telling me then that we have to change our value system. We don't necessarily value this as being a space where men should be involved. We have to now start understanding why is that so. What happens when you ask a man for honesty? And the minute he's honest with you, you start criticizing him, right?
Boy.
You telling that man that this ain't a safe space for you.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, but then in the same breath, we want you to be interested in relationship. See, we got to change the structure if we actually want to start seeing a change in the numbers. But we're not interested in changing the structure because it requires us to take accountability.
Yeah.
And it's hard for men to open up because when men open up, most of the times they lose that advantage that they had of being a man, boy. But
Yeah.
sometimes you say something and that woman would take that and turn that into something completely different, and you would be there regretting that you ever even brought it up. Because now you get some stuff thrown in your face. Oh, you can't do this,
Yeah,
you can't
yeah.
do that. And you get a lot of that, and that's why you see plenty men and they ain't even talking.
You know, it's
And plenty men being there where they get
Boy.
these things boys in their face, boy.
like there was a I don't know what you call it, a trend, audio trending on Instagram is like the fella was like, you know, if you ask a man how he's doing and he says he's fine,
Good.
that man is not fine.
No, boy.
He's battling demons and he's fighting battles that you don't know about. And honestly, babe, I do that.
Same.
My wife would ask me,
We say we
"Listen,
good.
be good, man. Everything
man.
cool. I got it. I'll figure it out.
I good.
Everything set. We got it."
Exactly, is your job to figure it out. Like,
Is it
when-
is it really though? If you with them, if you with somebody and you're all equal,
But
is
watch
it
this.
really that? Is it all fall on you when
Yeah.
you're feeling down?
I feel
You
as a
equal.
man. I feel as a
when you're in a
man.
relationship, you guys are equal to a certain extent. You are not 100% equal in a relationship. Right? If I'm in a relationship, when I'm in a relationship, I am not going to tell. I'm not. Well, no, don't say that. I talk to my wife about certain things, right? Certain things that's bothering me. Other things, I don't talk to her about it because I know she's going to worry about it. Instead, I focus on finding a solution.
Because
How it
here's the thing.
works.
At the end of the day, you don't want your woman to worry.
No, I don't.
Now, just because you're figuring it out doesn't mean that you won't because there's a lot that you don't share as a man simply because you don't want to worry your woman.
and we don't talk.
You know what?
We don't bring that up.
I used to try and stop my wife from worrying, and I realized that was a fruitless venture. My wife needs to worry. She just needs to be validated on what we're doing about it. It's like when I try to protect my wife from worrying, I'm not as truthful with her as I need to be, and that's unfair. But when I could expose my wife to what's going on, but then validate her in terms of what we're going to do about it, I'm not making her worry the problem anymore because, listen, you still got to work through that. If I working through this, you have to work through that too. But let me validate you as the man and the leader about what we're doing about it.
All right, that's some psychological shit. I ain't there yet. I just say, I good, and I can figure it out.
But my question is that always possible though?
So here's the litmus test, right? Ask your woman.
Hold on, you got to explain to Nathan what the litmus test is.
He really means explain to him. That's what he means.
I gladly say Nate, not me,
So-
because I don't know.
I'll explain to everybody. So the litmus test is what you're saying really gonna be what happens in real world. All right. So the litmus test is ask your women, do you want me to be honest with you or do you just want me to be truthful? Okay. So
Be honest.
truthful is simply observing what's right. Baby, it's a red light. We should stop. Baby, this is the law. We should obey it. Baby, we go into the passport office. They say that we should submit our application here. This is the right thing to do. That's truthfulness. Now, if she says she wants you to be honest, that's your heart. The heart is not necessarily in alignment with what is right. The heart is where you are at. So when I say, baby, my heart telling me I need to run this light. You in this car with me or no? My heart telling me I need to reach out to my boy in the passport office who could get me this passport in 3 days. That's what I dealing with. And see, men have an obligation to be truthful, but honesty is about your wisdom and timing. Don't just be honest with a woman because she asking for that. You got to be a man to say, no, you anxious right now. I ain't going to be honest with you. I'll be truthful with you. I want to tell you this, but until you demonstrate to me your ability to receive that,
To
baby,
receive
I
that.
can't tell you this.
Mother say, I ain't gonna lie, that
That's-
gone way over my fucking
Oh no, but that's important. For example.
I still envisioning me and my wife in the car by the red light. That's it.
Listen, I know.
No,
I lose some relationships for being.
oh, this is
truthful.
truthful.
Because
Because
everybody
you don't know
asking for
how
that.
they want it, but when you give it to them, they don't know how to deal with it.
That's deep.
Oh, I could deal with it. I could deal with it. When you said you watched them, as you said, like I watched them in their head, like soon as he finished, that's it. We ain't doing this no more. Like this ain't never happened. I don't want to hear nothing else. It's
Watch
over.
this. All us at this table got kids, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're always truthful with our kids.
Yeah.
Daddy, look at this pasta drawing. Wow, that's beautiful. That ain't beautiful. This is ugly. Okay?
You suck.
Let me see what the other kids did. This what you dealing with? This is a bear or a dinosaur. You could do better.
Yeah.
I'm truthful with my daughter. Like, I am happy that you are expressing yourself. But honesty is about timing. You don't tell that little girl
Timing.
that this is ugly.
Yeah. No.
Because you could kill her passion. And see, so many
She can
times in
end
our
up on
culture,
pole, boy.
so many times in our culture, we were victims of parents who were too honest. It's like, be truthful with me, but I don't need to be honest about things.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't need to know that early on that my daddy was that.
You're right.
or I didn't need to be exposed to that right there. I just needed some truth to preserve who I am and not necessarily be so overexposed to something. And as leaders, we got to understand that we are our protectors. We are their protectors emotionally too. I don't want to just bring my wife into something prematurely because I am already here. I'm looking at this and I'm seeing things and I'm like, baby, hold on. I just need you to get to a place where you out of your period, where you dealing with that anxiety a little better. Because what I see on this side of the fence, you ain't there yet.
I ain't gonna lie, you make me nervous just now. I can't say.
Especially when you say the gal on period.
Like that made me
Period was a red
nervous because you recognize your period.
The gal say something. The gal say something to you right now, right? She said, "Baby, I want you to be honest with me, and this may be your relationship, right?
Right.
Does this top make me look fat?" Now you have an obligation to look at her face and say, "Is she really looking for this?" Because she's a smart woman.
Right.
She could look in the mirror and see if she looked fat in this or not.
Right.
Or does she really want validation?
Well, you know, the reality is that, and I know that I am special because I married the fucking Bowflex Bobby. The only thing fat on that is
that question ain't making no sense.
No, that ain't making no fucking sense. Fat. What? Boy, I pat myself on the fucking back every day. Nigga, you married the Bowflex Bobby.
Oh, let's flip it. Let's flip it then.
No, she tell me I pat my feelings say.
No. In the same way, Nathan's wife says, I can always tell when you're confident. Your pigeon chest out, right? So to Kelsey, Ethan walking around and she say, "Oh yeah, you see how them shoulders moving? Ethan feel good about something, boy." Right. To Kel, look at this new shirt I just got. This look good, eh? And all the Kel seeing is how that's really accentuating your roles.
Right.
You say, "Tell me this don't look good." She's like, I love the fact that you love this shirt. Because she's like, look here, I don't have to kill this man ego right now.
Yeah, just
know what? My wife is killing you. She can let you know what the fucking is.
Well, that's good. And
see, I got my, like they say, I got my bubble base. I just got my bubble base.
And that's why I asked if it's always possible to actually do this. But you answer that, say, well, you got to know when to do it and how to do it.
So you got to know your wife.
And know the person who you with, yeah.
If you got an anxious woman, you can't always keep the vent on full open. Yeah, that's just the truth.
I could appreciate it. All right, guys. So I don't like to say this, but I got to. We got to have y'all back. Like, we got to do this again.
When I come back, I want to say, me and my wife, right? Me and my wife is sitting on the other day in the couch.
I'll tell you this, Sawyer. The woman that you call wife is a lucky fucking woman. Because you was a high valued man. You was a high valued man. Oh. You higher valued as a man than you is high red.
Yeah, but
wow, that is a compliment.
That is true now.
That is a compliment.
Yeah, people look at me and look past the red now.
Yeah.
I never gonna get people to look past
the red. They just see you as a man, others
they see soy boy face, and then they see red. But,
my wife ain't say that, but
I got no wife.
She's a redneck. I like that.
Yeah. All right, guys. So, listen. To everybody out there who has enjoyed this podcast, leave a comment, like, and share it with somebody that you feel it can add value to. And I promise you, even if it's just for one more episode, I'm going to bring these brothers back because I feel that this type of conversation, this type of dialogue is necessary. And we really just want to elevate men. You want to let men know that this is a safe space, so you got something to say. If you found value in this podcast, if you found value in this episode, please like, share, comment, and let's get the conversation going. Guys, I really do appreciate the time, the energy, the efforts that you displayed today. This was good. I think we need to do this again. What y'all say?
This sounds like the plan.
Hey, Don, man.
This the start.
This is the start.
This the start.
Or this can be a thing. Until next time, I'm EQ. Thank you for tuning into the Value Add Podcast. We're out. Peace.